into the surface, and we just keep the grind going. Chat's still silent, but that's alright. Hello, new viewer. And what we're doing is we're highlighting the edges of this candy painted Gunpla components. So the edges are silver, they're highlighted, they pick up. The autofocus is shitting me, but that's alright. Whatever. Ah, wait. I think that's the important bit. So just do the edges. Sure, that's good enough. I can't remember the importance of that, but this is a chest. This extrudes quite a bit, so falling on its forward is going to happen. So that's going to... The sort of work I've done on this project is lots of sanding, lots of cutting. I've used an ultrasonic knife, and I've cut away quite a bit of material of the armor. So when it's all patched together, you can only see holes that's going through to the inner frame. So it thinks I'm offline again. That's rubbish. We'll just refresh. We'll just check how good our internet's going. Oi, 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 oi. I don't think I even have internet. Oh well. Well, it still says it's online, so it's got to be fine. Weathering the edges. That's looking a tad on the rough side. Twitch is reloaded, so that should be fine. And we put that down, ready for top coating. I reckon a candy finish is beautiful. At the same time, it's very boring. So what's even more beautiful is when it's weathered and there's definition and there's just little things in the edges and all sorts of stories and something going on. Something that's taught by Mr. Kawaguchi. I can't disagree with him. It's very, very cool. Okay, so we're just doing the edging. There we go. Few coats are clear, and that's going to seal it all beautifully. So it looks like we're back online, but we've lost all of our viewers. That's unfortunate. If it is that choppy and stuff, I'm going to have to look on how to improve things. So we'll just see how we go. Just keep working at those edges. Pointy bits are the most important. That's where things and paint and finishes and all sorts of stuff definitely really gets scratched. Yeah, that's awesome. Bit of a raised panel there, so need to have a few bits and pieces. A dot here and there. Should have done that to a couple other pieces. Just a random dot. And we're down to the last one. Yay! But don't worry, it's not over. We'll be doing the same thing on to the victory. Okay, so we're back to viewers again. Again, that's probably the two streams that I'm doing. The one, it should say 0 technically because the OBS laptop isn't streaming, it's just doing OBS. And then this one is watching just so I can see the chat and other things on a secondary computer. Who knows? I'm not a tech expert or anything. I don't really care that much. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And it's glitching out again. I just really hope this is just my shitty laptop. Let's have a look. I think it's excellent. I might try streaming off the stronger laptop next time. Shouldn't I have, yeah, it's all live and stuff. Whatever. Can't keep checking on my settings. That's not too professional. Though, I've got no problem streaming. I have problems watching streams. So, who knows regarding that. We are done with the Providence, and I'm going to put it on its side so the pieces can be seen a lot easier. That's going to get it clear. It's going to sit around for about 24 hours. Clear via acrylic, Gunzi or Tamir, it doesn't matter. It's whatever crap I can find. And I'm going to put it in a small baggie, take it off site and assemble it. Put decals, assemble further. Those pieces are done and dusted. I've got some red warning decals on order from Hong Kong, and that's just going to be sweet as. Normally you put a wash over the decals, but I'm putting the wash underneath the candy, and I'm not putting any largish decals over creases or panels or whatever, so I could get away with that. It sort of goes against what a lot of tutorials say about decal application. You can technically apply it anywhere as long as there's a clear over it, but it should work out. It's not that much of a big deal. So we shall put this away. Ugh, fuck. So I'm going to sharpen this for the third time. And it looks like my stream's an absolute disaster on the output side, but who knows? I mean, once I start seeing feedback from the chat, people saying it's laggy or shitty or whatever, we'll know what the truth is then. I'm good. So where the fuck's my shot glasses? There it is. So I was streaming pretty well, utilizing this computer. I had a few audiences and whatnot. But who knows? Who the hell knows? Okay. Live stream is someone sharpening a pencil. Black shit on my fingers now. Just wipe it all over my filthy apron. I need to wash this sharpener. I'll do that after the stream. I could sort of walk away and come back whenever I feel like it, when I'm just doing my usual thing, but I sort of want to stay here and do the grind as long as I can. So, yeah. Now, being matted, it leaves the tiniest bit behind opposed to a gloss surface. So we're just doing the tiniest of tips, and we're going on both sides of the edge. We go nice uneven. There's a few areas where paint goes over or the panel lines are a bit messy. We could use the silver, sort of blend all that together in with the paint chips. The paint chips are not too noticeable on the white. It's kind of more of a mint, though whatever. Under some more detailed pictures, it's going to make more sense. That's looking good now. There's like a couple of black spots that really bothered me. Though with this, sort of really taken off. Just really, really light dabs. Dabs. Sort of thing millennials and whatnot are doing the whole, what was it, double heil or whatever. Putting their two hands over their heads. You know, Logan Paul videos and sort of trying to recapture the classic rap persona from the 90s. Or the gangster side things of it, not sort of like the Will Smith. I suppose that's all memified and whatnot. Whatever. So this piece has come out quite nice. There's a few paint chips. Dab a few here to just accent some detail. This edge doesn't have any. And the cool thing about this is sometimes it leaves a bit of a raised amounts of pigment, and that just looks really awesome, like a bit of paint is actually curled up, and it gets encapsulated in the clear quite nicely. And just put a few odd paint chips here and there. And we do a few heavier chips on the edges. Definitely the corners. The corners cannot be overlooked. And there we go. That's a very, very subtle weathered piece. That can go on the edge. For those watching at home, this is our platform of our pieces. This is going to take a little longer than anticipated, but I've just realised that there is a process of things. I've just sort of been running at the gab and doing things randomly. I'm going to take a break from that because I didn't originally was going to work on the Providence first. What my priority is for tonight is these. Now these are the lower legs, and there needs to be a build-up of dirt around the feet in the most realistic fashion humanly. Now, a lot of people, when they're thinking weathering up and marking up the feet, they just dry brush paint up against the feet, the legs. It goes for up to centimeters, and that's practically meters and meters of mud jumping. There's dust, there's mud, there's all sorts of things. So what I've done is I've got an airbrush and just dusted the tiniest amounts of sand around the edges of the feet and underneath, and probably even a finer amount around the ankle. Also, the kneecap. I always like to go for the kneecap because there's just countless photos I've seen of Gundams, mobile suits and whatnot kneeling, so they're close to the ground. The pilot can get out of the cockpit easier by the torso leaning over, and they can bungee out or whatever. What my plans are is I'm going to be using a lighter brown wash. All these pieces received a very heavy black wash, cleaned up, a brown wash over that, cleaned up, so there could be sort of like Starship filth, if anyone knows the whole Vallejo catalogue and all that. And I'll put a brown one and sort of be less clean about it and let it be a bit thicker. So there's just an obvious colouring difference at the bottom where there's just been all sorts of dirt, mud, the sand, whatnot build up. It happens down there, scratching and hitting the side of buildings. The very edge is going to have a darker brown wiped on with the makeup set. Then we shall hit it with the makeup pencil, a few chips here and there. That gets a final matte coat. That's finished. All the other bits and pieces will have a little bit of paint chipping. That gets top coated. Final assembly, and this thing is as done as dinner. It's been on the go for more than a year. It's going to be so cool when it's done. I'll quickly show off the torso. And this is one piece, not color separatable or anything. It's all airbrush. The blue has been 3 blues, and then I've masked it, painted the white, and I masked it and painted the yellow, masked it, painted the red, masked it. The black is hand painted, so it's only one color, and it's been washed. It's been panel lined. It's had its edges highlighted with the weathering pencil. Absolutely everything you can possibly imagine went into this. A bit of shading in the vents and all that. Absurd amount of work. When this thing's finished, it's blown my mind to be finally rid of this. And I've got another 2 very big amounts of resin kits to get through of a similar vintage era mess. I mean, it's just a case of cleaning up, pinning, assembling, priming, finding holes, filling the holes, sanding, priming, sanding, priming, sanding, priming, sanding. It looked like a T-Rex. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. I remember I got a $20 note in my apron, and that'd still be the case. I think that's been in there for about 5 to 8 years. Hilarious. So I'm going to get a wash because I'm just talking way too much. And I need a suitable paintbrush for that. But I'll get back with that when I come back. Might have to talk a bit louder, but it is what it is. Going to the drawer with my weathering washes and all that sort of jazz, and found SMS Brown. This is an oil. It takes forever for it to dry and harden. If you airbrush after putting this stuff on it, because the wash in the panels is still wet, it just blasts the wash out and it makes your model look filthy and harder to clean up because you've got liquor or something sitting on top of it. I'm not seeing a paintbrush I want. This is the beauty of being so organized. I'm absolutely not organized. There's my thinner. It's nowhere near the thinner, and it's nowhere near here. It's not in there. I'm going to have to just use... Fuck. What looks good. There it is. Is that it? That's one of them. It was hiding at the very bottom. Every time Alan does a stream, it's watch Alan sit there, lose tools, look about it, and freak out for a bunch of time. I have so many of these, it's not funny. This is like a few hundred. Beautiful thing of also being an online hobby shop here is I could just raid my own stock when I need it immediately. Though I still need to charge it to myself, or otherwise I'll make my money, so there'd be a discipline. It's sort of almost like a drug dealer that takes his own stuff. It's not good. So I'm folding up a bit of tissue. Always have to remember to do stuff over here, so I'm not modeling right in front of my eyes. And this is applying almost like a filter. That's beautiful. Go a bit heavier. Dab it in the panels, and I can just that's nice. So the beautiful thing of doing this really lightly is on the sand, it's changing the color of the mint white, and then we just wipe off the excess, but just lightly. So where it's got the little creases going in, you can see the brush strokes and whatnot, and it's just the color's changed ever so slightly. It's so subtle. It's so subtle. It's just the tiniest of build up, and that's the sort of thing that the eye picks up on. It's a bit heavier at the bottom. Put that aside. We've got a smaller thing to sort out, so we know that collection of parts is to be weathered. And we'll just do the same thing so it's symmetrical onto the other side. Now the problem with these washes is the pigment separates from the binder and the thinner very, very quickly, so you need to regularly shake it. And the consistency changes. So we close it, shake it a bit. I have got a ball bearing inside of all my paints, washes, primers, everything. It is 8mm. It's stainless steel. It's the highest quality stainless steel I could find. It's not a ballast. It's not for just cheap work. These are actually quite expensive and hard to source. There are brands like SMS, Mr. Hobby, all that sells various sizes, and you can put in your paint and mix them. If they rust in your paint is ruined. But the beautiful thing about these ones is once you run out of that color, clean it up, put it in the next jar of paint, they just last forever. And that's why they are worth putting so much money into them. But they're not absorbently. Volkson, cheers. Hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. So that you can get about 25 for about 12 to 15 Australian dollars. So you're probably looking closer to 10, 12 US dollar mark. It's safe to assume they're approximately around get two for $1. And $1 for a ball bearing does sound absurd. So if you only have a certain amount of active paints, primers, washes and whatnot, when it runs out, you transfer it to the new bottle. And the fact that you just shake, open and use, it speeds up the process so quick. It's really, really, really cool. And once, so they sell stirring sticks by Tamir. Mr. Hobby sells this little rotor thing with a spinning motor that you stick in there and it mixes the paint and the pigments. And everyone's got all these ridiculous methods of mixing paints. Rattle cans have got the right idea. They've already got a built-in. That should sense a bit. They've already got a built-in ball bearing. You can't access it. So why not put a ball bearing inside of absolutely everything? Why does it take so long for the hobby to sell ball bearings to people? Because not everyone's an engineer. You don't know what stainless steel to buy to put in. Some folk are just going to get some cheap ballast. And that's where it's worked out. So we've got this nice amount of just glowing, discoloured brown over the mint white. And that's just the build-up, the colour change of the dust and being the lower end of the weathering map and plan of our project. And it's just not building up as well as I like, so we shake it a bit more, we put another coat, and that's more like it. That's what we're looking for. That's the ticket. Go a bit heavier down here. That's the ammonia. I had ammonia. Still recovering from that. Compare the two. Yeah, it's about right. So we have consistency between the two symmetrical parts. As consistent as it gets when you're weathering. And it looks like the other computer's buffering or whatever. Work on these pieces first. Wash the inside in case any of it is visible. And then we'll go quite heavy. And then while we're going up, it gets lighter. Fuck. Where did it even... bottom. Jesus. Lucky it's all fully cured and hardened. So we're not... Didn't get any fingerprints on it. That's good. Now, how I get these such heavy resin parts to stick on the skewer is I drill where the part's not going to be visible after assembly. The two biggest holes I could do, which is 1.5, 2 mil, maybe up to 3 mil looking at it now. And it's enough for the alligator clip to dig in, and it can bite and crunch and chip paint and do whatever, but it can support quite well. Now, it's a bit heavy at the bottom, not as heavy at the top. Light, we whisk it gently, and there's a bit of a slight gradient on such a slight colour, because white gets filthy so easy. We just put a bit of a dash for the kneecap in case it's been kneeling and whatnot. There's a bit of a drip that's going down, so we just neaten that up a bit. Feather, edge it. And that's looking quite nice in the weathering process. Peg that up. Excellent. And we repeat the same process on part number 2. It's going to take a while to dry, so we'll let that dry and settle a bit, and then we'll come back and weather the bottom of them. While we wait for that, we could do the paint chipping on the rest of the parts, and we've also got some parts to mount regarding our Providence. So again, heavy on the bottom, but it's not looking too heavy, so we need to mix it all over again. This is a process. I'll mix a little more. Look at the bottom. I should, not tip it upside down because it goes in the cap, and when you open it, it spills on the thread, and when you open it and then close it and it dries, it becomes impossible to open it later. And yes, that's happened, and that's shitty and whatever. That's something I can sort out when I am off camera. Yes, this is heavy, very, very heavy, and that's what we want. A little heavier. Wipe off the excess. We go lighter at the top, and then we feather with the tissue. Bit heavy in some areas, but that's alright. We can take off and then reapply, and it should be a bit thinner. Not really, that's alright. Do the kneecap as well. Feather that heavily, we eventually wipe off at some point. We let that settle in for a bit. Okay, so it's starting to dissipate a bit. Get it nice and even, nice and dirty. And what I might do for some bits for a bit of rust is get my orange wash, a very, very thin brush, and a few areas where we got like little screws and holes and whatnot, and just do the tiniest lines of just dripping rust or something, or fluid. And that could look really, really cool. So that's alright, that's starting to tell a story now. Put a bit of dirt in the back there. Bit of dirt in the joint. I should have did the same thing with the other one. We'll get the other one and do the same thing. Need to refresh the other computer. No, did that itself. Too cool. Fuck. That always happens. Gotta be very careful not to touch any of the wet bits. Put that on. Never touch this piece again. And yeah, that's coming together quite well. Gonna mix this up, and we'll do the last two pieces. Stupid pneumonia. Now this bit here is going to be a bit hidden, so I could go a bit heavier there. And whatever little bit can be seen is just going to be fascinating, because there's going to be a tone difference. Go heavier on the red bit, lighter on the mince bit, wipe it back a bit, nice and heavy at the bottom. a bit of debris there. Wipe that off. Recolor. Place. I'm so sorry for the coughing. Same thing here. Nice and heavy. And this is like the subtlety of weathering that really gets people's attention when you're displaying your work. That the really small things, and they stand back and have a look, all comes together in unison and tells a whole story instead of one or two weathering methods that's done overly heavy. Then you go, oh, you've done a lot of dry brushing, or oh, you've done a lot of washing or something. But if you do everything in moderation, that tells a story, and that's interesting because people can't spot one or two techniques. They just see a whole canvas of naturally occurring dirt and filth and stuff. And I reckon, yeah, some streaking is definitely going to be the go. I wasn't going to do some because I thought, nah, it's too clean and whatnot. But this tiny amount of filth, sort of like, yeah, it's going to be the case. That's going to be awesome. So the filth on this piece is just a little too heavy compared to the other one. Let's wipe it back a bit. There we go. That's all right. That's cool. So we're going to let that sort of set a bit. And I'm smelling this awesome oil base white spirit. It's sort of very similar to the more greasier turpentine, and this is the sort of smell that the paints had when I was a kid, the old Humbrals and all that. And that's just bringing back to just sitting at my mate's kitchen table, putting together a 35th really basic 80-0 tanks and then slapping paint all over it and having a build paint job done in a series of about a 7-hour stint or a day and night. There'd be no more than 30 parts. Very, very nostalgic. So I might as well So we've got these two. Now, the orange is going to be the streak marks for the darker colours. I'm going to use the yellow to streak mark over the mint. So there's just that faded differential in colour on seams and whatnot. And this could be a little heavier where this would just not be noticeable over blue, red, or the weapons or anything like that. I might do that first and then paint, do the paint chipping with the makeup pencil. Clean up the brush. Just like Bob Ross does, slap it around on the side of the easel. Oh god, that thing is filthy. Really enjoying this. I gotta make a habit of streaming more often. This does not have a ball bearing. Like you happen to have one just sitting right here for some reason. There we go. These square jars are a bit weak on the surfaces, so you don't go too heavy in the shaking department, because it has fractured for one of my friends and he'll never let me live it down. So I'll have both of these open. Get a fine paintbrush. Oh, that was the paintbrush I was looking for. Shit. Alright. What's this? That's too fine. That's perfect. Okay. So get these bits out that we're already working on. Use the filter. We start doing some streaking. Whoa, that went on way too big. Virtually completely yellow. Okay. We'll get a bit of orange in there. Do a bit of white. And that's not working out too well. So what we could try to do is get some pigment. I'll try it on a dry bit because that's a bit wet. So we might need to try it on a dry bit. Okay. Now I've got an idea how I'm going to do this. Get some pigment as well. A super fine brush. That's pretty fine. So we're going to wet it a bit. And then we're going to get a finely tiny line of pigment. We've got some rough pigment here. It's a bit dark. We'll see how it looks. And then we'll just do the tiniest amount of light. Oh, yes. Oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. So, there you go. We're going to use the filter to wetten it up, to stain the area slightly. And then we use the pigment to have an actual physical rust line. Yeah, that works. Coming out quite well. Stream's lagging again. Reset that. Okay, so back on this piece. And we're not going to do it on all the pieces. We're just going to have a couple here and there. It's a bit random. That's gone on a bit too thick. That's alright. You get the big brush and you blend it in a bit. And you wipe it to next to nothing. It leaves a lovely couple of amounts of streaks. With the big brush again. And just streak it away. And then the excess gets wiped. There you go. We've practically got a weathering tutorial going on over here. Wow. And this is going to be crazy time consuming. Okay, that looks alright. Is that exactly? That's like a bit of... That was weird. And then we have a bit of a light. Nice and strong. Excess off. And get one of these to shape it a bit. And we get a bit more of this. Yes. Yes, that's perfect. That's cool. Exactly what I wanted. And we'll just put it in there like that. Yes. Let's put a little red gun down there. A little red gun down there. Blend it in a bit with the brush. Shit. Wipe excess. There's a bit of weird filth developing there. Wipe that off. Cool. It's done. It's weird for that to develop there. Wipe that off. That's finished. Okay. Alright. And that's more like it. And you got these like little yellow marks coming down. And then you just sort of fan it off at the bottom. And then we got them coming down from here as well. Oh yes. And that's proper use of a filter. And I've never really done proper filtering on a kit before. This is the first time I've practiced a bit. Though getting her to pull it off now, especially on camera, is really, really cool. That, that, a bit more. Oh yeah. And then we reattach it. Add more filter. Add just a touch amount of orange inside. We neaten up that tiny. Oops. A bit more orange. Yeah. One, two, three, four. Wipe, wipe. Down you go. Down you go. Down. Yes. And that's exactly the effect I'm going for. And that's just turning out so much better than I could have possibly imagined. I want to go a bit stronger with the yellow here. That was a bit too strong. So wipe off a bit of excess. Yep. A bit stronger. Perfect. That could not have turned out any better than I could have hoped for. I would have thought the yellow would have been a nice colour too. Yellow going down. Gravity, water building up, mixing with other metals, fluids, whatnot, fuels, and leaving a stain down the paint. It's not necessarily rust. Not necessarily rust at all. Okay. Bit coming down there. A line. Line. Pinch the brush. We have the tiniest amount of pigments. Yes, the pigment's getting finer now. My control is starting to get the hang of it. Being white, I want to be as subtle as humanly possible. Cool. Then we blend that a bit more with a bit more yellow. Yes. A bit more yellow. Thin out the red a bit. Yes. And that's ideal. Very happy with that. Okay, so we got this bit. Build up of gunk there that's no good. Filter fixes that quickly. We filter hard down here. Get a bit of pigment. Couple of lines. We blend the lines. Thin it a bit with a bit more filter. Get a bit of rust wash right into the edge there. Might thin that a bit so there's a tad on the thick side. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Cool. Bit of filtering. Tiniest amount of pigment. Thin it out. Bit more filter. And that is happy. Bit of rust. Right into the crease. And that's the feet good with streaking. Next, that's going to require a bit of edging of some dirt using a makeup pad. We'll keep going. Again, this is yellow filter, Mr. Weathering Color Orange, MIG Pigment Primer Red. streak. Oh, that looks great. So, a bit of a change of colour. I might be able to put this on the Facebook group, Weathered Models. Very thinking about their weathering. Might actually meet their standards. Even Scale Model Critiques group. Oh yeah. Oh, that's it. That's the shit. Okay. Bit of a filter on the other side. It's going down here. Change the color. That's what filtering does. It's just going from that black dot down, just a line, nothing else. It's a stain. It goes here. Now this, we don't want any too heavy weathering because it's near the head. So we're going to have it coming out of the thrusters. There's these little vent thingies here. Coming across there. Might have the tiniest line. Cool. A bit more yellow. Maybe the slightest amount of orange down the seam. Oh yeah, and that's perfect. Other side, I'm not worried about cross-contaminating the two because I'm using such a fine tip brush. Might have to run off for a 5-10 minute break and get another water. Really on a roll. I haven't streamed for such a long time, and this is just coming out to be such a nice stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm definitely going to buy some more filters. I'm really, really enjoying using it for this. Okay, that goes there. Now, what can we do with this? That's already done. Nothing can be done about that. Next piece. We'll have a little bit of... Yes! Now we thin that out a bit. Yep. Yep. And we need a bit of orange to go in there. Yep. Down, down. Alright, and that's perfect. Okay. Again, same with this one. We're only staining these bits. So that's stained. I've fallen in love after, like, I've done filtering a bit, but after doing this project, I have definitely fallen in love with the concept of filters. It's so subtle and it's working so beautifully right now. And I need to put this video up somewhere to go, hey, you know, these are what these streams are like, eh? Okay, I need to make a point on this brush. Okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Right down the seam. Need to go a bit heavier on filter. Yep. Done. If I remember, this part sits like this. So what I might do is just a couple of light streaks of filter. That's it. Nothing else. This, I might just do like one streak there, one streak there. That's it. Nothing else. Subtlety. Now these, there's nothing really you could do with these. That can only be paint chips. So that goes there. The rusters, I've sort of only kind of weathered it a bit. I'm just going to go like that, go like that. And in there, I want to be a bit different. So we're just going to slightly tone the inside bit there with a bit of rust. So yeah, that's just changed the color inside ever so slightly. Clean that up. And that's it. Nothing else. We can see how subtle some of the works are. Sometimes it's just a couple of flicks of the brush. Same here. We're going to do that out. There's a bit going on this piece. So we can have a bit of fun. Got these two little knobs there. So we go like that. We'll sort of recolor that a bit. And we'll go a bit heavy here and here. Get a bit of rust in there. Excellent. Alright. Wipe that on my arm a few times. And then we're going to do the tiniest amount of streaking. Okay, that was a bit crooked. That's alright. We can either eliminate it with more filter or straighten it out. And then we try again. Yep. And yeah, that's worked out well. Now what I'm also going to do with the filter is there's a different surface here. So we're going to just slightly color it and wipe a bit more, just so shading wise it looks slightly different. Cool. So this bit, there's not much we could do. There we go. Nothing we can do with that. I want to avoid fluid weathering the head. I'm going to have the tiniest amount of filter coming out of the Vulcan guns, the rear camera, and the side of the vents of the head. And that's all it is. It's just little slightly coloured streams of yellow. For my next build, I want to filter with blue. I think blue is going to be sick with like sort of a kerosene fuel colour coming out. That's going to be sweet as. So the next filter I'm buying is blue. I thought I already done one of these. I did, but I didn't do the other one. So it's just the same weathering all over again. So I was sort of just kind of happy with this, and doing these little bits of work and looking at the paint chipping and stuff. Now I'm very happy with it. I think my weathering game has gotten pretty strong of late. I want to have a streak coming out. Yes, yes, there we go. Pinch the brush a bit. My stream's going strong, that's good. Bit of rust. Thin it out a bit. Couple of lines. thin those lines out even further so they're just so thin. Yes. These are not so thin. Oh, that's fine. Let's go a little heavier with the yellow. That's a tad too much yellow, but we were able to mop it up a bit. There we go. Done. Don't want to do too much on these. Whoops, that was too much. It's too much yellow on the brush tip, so we'll just wipe off the excess. And then we're going to put a bit of rust on the inside of these bell things. Just smooth it out and just use it as a slight color change. A little bit there. There you go. Now, it is quite dark, so I'm just going to do a couple of streaks of, and a couple of creases of orange. It just changes the tone in a couple of areas. That we can't really do much with, so just a single streak. Yellow. Again, this one can't do too much, it's the arm. It's got a couple of lines. I'll colour in the joint with the tiniest amount of rust, so you differentiate. And I think I might do the same on the other one, because I really like the look of that. Where's the other one? There you are. I'm starting to use my arm just to wipe off excess and stuff. Chemical wise, probably not a good idea. Though, there we go. Because there's like these two little things, we're just going to slightly discolor them there. Random line. Why not? Beefing. Don't want to fuck with that. That is different. Hands. Don't want to mess with hands. Definitely do not want to mess with the face. The guns. No. No fluids on the guns. Okay, so there's a bit there, so we're just going to colour that slightly. And I have just the slightest amount of yellow coming out there. Cool. Oh, another person watching the stream. Hello, viewer. We are weathering. So this has a lot of colour. The yellow is not going to work too well. What we will do is, under the yellow bit, just add a tiny bit out. There is a mark there. So we'll just have a little bit coming out there. And we're using filters. That's all far too strong, but that's alright. So we could use this brush to whisk it. That works out well. And then we'll use the darker colour, the rust, and have them coming out of all the different holes and ports and whatnot. Here under the arm, we'll do like a ton there. Nice and thick. There as well. Coming out of there. Streak. Streak. Streaking. That's good. And then we'll have a little bit of rust coming out of these points. I have to get something for those two red dots, a different pigment, something far darker or a slightly different color, maybe a brown. Oh, fuck. That was a huge mistake. That's alright. We start from scratch all over again. Not a big deal at all. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And we whisk, take the excess off. And then what's going on? We refresh. 4 viewers. Hello viewers. Weathering the vintage Victory Gundam. We're using filters, we're using washes, we're using pigments, and we're doing like slight fluidy marks. Now, because we're dealing with a darker color, you can afford to go a little bit on the thicker side of things. And it looks good. That was a bit too thick. So I'll just cut that back a bit. Ah, that's good. Alright. Go pretty heavy underneath the arms. Yeah, that's good. That's came out nicely. That's a bit too thick. It blends away. We get some more pigment. Try that again. That was way too thick. Yes, that's perfect. And we use a bit more orange. Oh, wrong brush. That's why I didn't apply too well. Cool. And cool. I'll just thin that out a bit more. I'm going to get another pigment and use it for those two red bits. But no, yes. This should work. Light brown. Okay, so we just go like that. Like that. Didn't really work. We wet the brush. Coat it with some wet pigment. Just leaving a mark. 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 Beautiful. Very subtle. Close that. Any pigment will work. Doesn't have to, it can be Mig, it can be Mr. Hobby. Absolutely doesn't matter to anyone. So we've got this white underneath this blue. And we're just going to go crazy with streaking it. It's underneath the legs and whatnot. And it's shadowed quite heavily. It's going to be protected by the skirts and whatnot, so it's not going to be as well looked after when you've got the washers and maintenance and whatnot. This is one of these areas that's just going to be overlooked slightly. It's going to have a bit more extra colour that. Streak a bit. Cool. 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 Get a bit strong here because it's a flat surface. This is where fluids and dirt and whatnot build up. So that needs to be a different color. And that's done. And that's all the fluids finished for this model. We'll pack away, we'll clean our brushes, we'll condition our brushes. We're going to get to paint chipping. And then this model's done. We don't touch it until late tomorrow. We're going to chuck some SMS clear matte. Chuck some SMS clear matte. I'll put that aside. I'm going to blow my nose. I've been streaming for a while, so I reckon I can get away with that. An hour and a half. Lordy. Let's see if we can do 2 hours, and then I'm going to call it a night. While we are midstream, I will show off that I have built this beautiful tank. I'm going to review this shortly, make the video. I'm going to take the photos of it tomorrow. And that's going to be another video. Clean these 3 brushes. That's a Tamiya brush conditioner, which was not closed properly. But that's alright, now it is. That goes in the rubbish. These get put away. I'm going to have a quick break. I shall be back. And once that's done chipping, we do the pigment on the feet. That's it. What a time. 2 minutes, I swear. Okay, I'm back. After we're back after a break, we got the exciting process of cleaning brushes. Yay. It is needed. So this is just my whisking brush. The tip of it is worn. It's very soft. It used to be a hand painting brush. Still use it for hand painting, but it's mostly weathering. So the tips of it's weathered, it's wearing out, and it's sort of just, it's so soft and whisky, it's beautiful. It does not maintain a point anymore. This is my pointy medium brush. It's slowly getting damaged, so it's going to be required to be replaced soon. You lick your fingertips to maintain a tip. This isn't my pointiest brush. At the moment, it's good for just colouring in small pieces. As you saw, it was good for doing the flat end for the filters and whatnot. This is a conditioner. It coats the tip once you've got a point going, and it maintains the tip. So we're going to put that in the brush case, and this is got a tip, starting to curl. Though because it's a pinched brush, it pinches together nicely. And then we dip that. We don't dip the whole brush, just about the first third. That's going to stiffen nicely. To me, a brush there's a few brush conditioners on the market. To me, one's pretty cheap. It's a huge quantity. And this does need it because it's meant to be fanning out and soft and whatnot, though it still maintains a beautiful profile. I bought this from a proper art shop. This is expensive, and it's still serving very, very well. I will need to buy some pointed, expensive paint brushes sometime in the future. That's all done. We get back to our shot glasses, which are right there. And I'm only just going to use one as my rubbish bin. We're going to get our pencil sharpener. We're going to sharpen our silver again. Get a nice strong tip. Made a bloody mess of that. And we resume paint chipping. So I've already paint chipped this, and it's streaked and it's chipped and it's looking beautiful. Do the big one. Just very, very light taps here and there. On the edges in a few areas. Where it's going to be visible. Of course, all the corners, around the edges. Corners are the most important. Breaks up the black lines, which is really hard to maintain a black line. And it makes it look so much neater. Where there's bits that stick out quite a bit. Going over a bit going on there. Where there's a lot of flat areas, you don't want as much chipping. Stream's doing well. We got something going on there. And the joins. Along some seams. can't neglect the back area, though I'm pretty sure most of it's covered up. Just in case there's some of it that's visible, we'll do it all up. Can't go too thick. I'm going too thick on some areas. So need to have some finer ones all over the place. So really, really light. And it's starting to come to life. Yep. Alright. Some along there. Panel lines, that's where the armor's pulled apart, where they're pried apart and are loose and can be scratched up and all sorts of things happening. And we'll just have a few light taps here and there. Just the weight of the pencil, hitting a few surfaces, closer to edges. And I'll have a look back and have a bit of a look, because some raised areas that we're missing out. Oh, that's all neglected. Yep. In a bit there. And a couple down here. Couple along there. Just wipe a bit to smooth some of them out. A bit too heavy there. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm calling that alright. That's not too bad. Okay. And we're just doing the edges. Not too heavy, not too light. Just right. Sort of really focused in the zone at the moment, so the commentary is probably not on the awesome side. Okay. So I have to go a bit heavier on the mint or the white, because it's not as noticeable. That's alright. Oh, and also where that joint is, I have it nice, strong there. Yep, beautiful. Look at the stream, still streaming strong. Another viewer, hello viewer. Now with the hands, what we do want to mess with is the edges, of course. Didn't have to do the fluids, but being such a dark colour, it's going to stand out quite a bit. The corners going, a little bit on the fingers, and that's it. That's just enough. Fingers, just probably a couple here and there, especially the tips. Face, I'm just going to slightest amount on the chin, a couple on the edges. Want to go over too hard. Done. The gun is very smooth. I don't want to mess with the gun too much. There are around where the handle is. That's it. Nothing too heavy. Just a few things there for the eye to pick up. Cool. That's it. Now there's a bit of edging going on here. So we can't go to town if we're not dropping a bit. I love the feel of this matte coat. It's really strong. Bit too strong. Fuck that up. And we use the tissue. And we just wipe and wipe and wipe until it's all gone. It's all gone. And a bit of the pencil broke off and got smudged in. Okay. And that's cool. That's looking alright. So that goes in there. Next hand. So closed fist. So again, the corners, the tips of the fingers, couple on the knuckles in case it's been punching things. The middle one's wrong. We kind of had a bit break off again, so we wipe back again. So we probably need to do a sharpen. It's gotten a bit blunt. Alright, sharpen time. Another viewer. Hello, viewer. Welcome to the stream. We are weathering the Victory Gundam 72nd resin kit. We've done fluids. We've done streaking. We've done washes. We're doing paint chipping at the moment. And then after that, we're going to do a bit of pigment on the feet. Going very subtle. Many different approaches and layers of very fine amounts of weathering. My finger is covered in pigment, so I'm going to try not to touch things. And we're just lightly tapping the corners, the edges, a couple of bits on some seams. Don't want to take it too much away. Perfect. Some areas are a bit heavier, some areas are a bit lighter. And it's all telling the story. Okay, so that's done. Now the V fin. And I have the edges worn out to a silver point. That's going to look really cool. V-fins are very small, they're pointy, they stick out. It's the icon of the Gundam. And there we go, that's ideal. Any love from the chat? No, that's alright. just lightly tapping, tap, 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 taparoo on the edges. It's going to really show nicely on the red. On the mints, we have to be a bit heavier handed. But that's alright if it doesn't show too much. It's better to be too light and not really noticed than too much weathering at all. I should have this tool here because I have a weird line. This is a rubber tool, and I'm just going to see if I can just rub it out, or at least soften it. And that's softened really nicely. It sort of made it all scratchy looking, so that's a cool effect. We'll just keep it uniquely there. Cool. That's done. And a few paint chips here and there. That's done. And this bit all around the edges. Cool. That's looking good. The head. We want to go really light on the head. Don't want to go too heavy on that. Pick up the edges. Alright. Cool. That's not too heavy, but we'll call that good. Now, make sure we pick up the edges, the corners. Just let the gravity of the pencil hit the edges and whatnot. That makes really nice random marks. Build up slowly. Yeah, that's nice. That's how we want it. Thruster. There's a pretty bad mark there. So we made it all scratched up with metal. And it actually looks like a feature and it's quite nice. Make sure we got all the corners going. It's all highlighted with silver. Black ends there, so it can continue with the silver. Cool. Just corners, not too much because this piece is not too exposed. Good enough. Next piece, pretty much the corners. Cool, good enough. Whatever this is, I actually know what it is. It's somewhere in the back, but alright, done. So close to being done with this project. I'm relieved. Alright, so that's like a huge build up of black there. So we could just sort of make a feature of it with some silver. Okay. More on the edges. Cool. Sharpen the pencil again. Stream seems to maybe have lagged or frozen on that. Don't know. It's what appears to be on my computer. Oh. Oh, pardon me. You can tell the later a stream gets, the more what's the term? In more casual things get. Yeah, that's a good word, casual. Okay, I can't find my little rubbish shot glass. It should be there somewhere. Doesn't matter, I'll find it later. It's full of pencil sharpenings. There it is, the original one. So we can put the new one away. I don't know why I put that away. We get our little pencil sharpener. Okay. So pencil is got a nice tip. Put this with the rest of the rubbish. Back to 4 views. Hello viewer. Weathering a model kit. There we go. It's a little more responsive. And just with the weight of the pencil, we're creating paint chips on corners. There we go. And let's build up slowly. And it's building up. And that's a bit more build up on this side. The bottom of it probably should have a bit of orange. I'll do that. Well, it's going to be noticeable. No, it's not going to be noticeable. Cool. Leave that there. Alright. Paint stripping or chipping. Bit on the other side. Alright, that's done. Next piece. Just the weight of the pencil. Bouncing up and down, going around the edges. Where it's likely that machinery is going to be hitting other hard surfaces. Bumping into things, space debris, little scratches, little dinks. It's been in space, it's been on Earth, it's been everywhere. Is it a bird, is it a plane? No, it's a Gundam. Oh god, that's a reference to that Facebook group. Oh well, doesn't matter. Not a particularly bad group, so it's alright. Bad people that post on it. Is what it is. Okay, so cool. Now, it's so hard to wear the white. Painting in mints just worked out really well. It looked weird at first, though, with the weathering and everything else and the other colours and the shading and it going into white. Glad I've done it. Mint is just a weird colour to buy. I remember buying it off E2046. It was on sale and it came with a kit. And I've just been sitting on this old bottle for like 7, 8 years. And it's just like, yep, this is the right colour from the anime cells to pull out and use. Okay, let's have a quick look. Yeah, cool, good enough. And the last piece. On the dark pieces, like it's strategic. On the dark pieces, you have less paint dense, and on the light pieces, you go a bit heavier. It's all about what's seen, not necessarily what's exactly natural. Sometimes the Warhammer approach is good where you do things that look good. I can hear my dog snoring outside. It is like, Jesus, 4 in the morning. I had a bit of a nap today, so that's alright. I had a couple of days off, so it's really good to relax a bit and just sitting down and modelling like this, doing it on stream. It's almost like I'm on holidays. It's living the dream. Okay. Yeah. looking at these pieces, I'm pretty pleased. That's a weathered Gundam. That's... I don't know what else to say. So this is a bit weird what's happened here. There's not much to do about that. Let's put it the others. Okay, so I need to take a photo of that at some point. I could do that after the stream. Now, we're dealing with these pieces. Did I... No, I haven't paint chipped them. Oh, the silver's coming back out. Okay, so we have a few bits of paint chipping. Yeah, starting to run out of things to say, so a bit on the silent side of things. Also kind of went off camera there a bit. That's alright. That's done. A bit of paint chipping. Big part. I realised why I kept falling off. It's just such a big part. It's heavy as hell too. And yeah, paint chip. Alright. I'm gonna hit this up a bit more. Weathering away. Getting those paint chips on. A few edges. Alright, so that's all chipped up. Last bit. This is a big surface to weather. A high grade or a master grade or something a bit easier in different colours and bits of armour and whatnot. And I did a little bit on the Providence as well. But yeah, I think I'm almost completely burnt out from weathering at the moment. That's hilarious. But yeah, this is the most work I've actually done on this in a while. So we're going to do the edges of the feet now. I'm going to go get the last tool. And we'll leave this open here because I'll need to access it for the next thing I'm doing. I've been cough for a while, so that's pretty cool. This thing. How long have we been streaming for? Hell's bells, 2 hours. So this is pretty funny. Makeup set! And look at all the colors. How cool is that? So, I don't even know where to start. So what I need to do is a test piece. Out my bag of parts here, because I've never used this before. And there should be a Gundam somewhere in here. And I pulled out a foot. So if we can replicate the effect on bare plastic. Yeah, that's exactly the effect I'm going for. And it's easy to wipe off. Yes. So for edging. And let's see if we want to just rub it all over a surface. And then you wipe back. That's an interesting effect. So I suppose it'll work so much better on a matted surface. So let's try edging of that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So it's a mud color, and it's only coming up just on the edges. And there's some rust colors, and there's some blacks and stuff. And on the other side. And yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. Grab 2 sides. Very, very subtle. This makeup stuff is brilliant. So soft. And it's a little darker than what I already airbrushed on. And there's wash, there's pigment. It builds up sort of like mud. There's wash, there's pigment. Everything going on here. Okay, so like, yeah, I'm sort of just smudging it there. And that looks cool. It's not going to be too visible there, but that looks very, very cool. Wake up. So we're using women's makeup to wear the Gundam. And there you go. You see, that's sort of just weathering it nicely. And we're just weathering the edges. Just the edges at the bottom of the feet, across the foot itself. A bit there. Okay. And we'll just blend it in there. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's come out cool. We'll get the other one. So the experiment of women's makeup, or facial makeup I should say, because you know you get all sorts of people using a theatrical laugh, all that sort of stuff, cosplay. Theatrical makeup, or just facial makeup, works really, really well. And we're going to... Oi, 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 oi. So just a bit on the knee for when it's kneeling. Just the bottom there. Okay. This is going to bring a new game to weathering. Or at least for weathering for me, not in general. Alright. And of course, right there. A little bit there. Do the same there. I think this is a finished weathered model. All we got to do is top coat it. One final top coat. And we're finished. I do have to top coat the Providence before I go to sleep so I can handle it tomorrow and the day after. We can put the test back away, close the makeup pad, put the makeup away, and we can probably start mounting some parts. Done. Not done, not done, not done, done. There you go. So this is part of the Providence. We've gone from one project to another. I'm going to separate the parts for colour separation's sake. And this will be primed and some of the airbrushing done tomorrow. So we've got red bits, gunmetal bits. Seriously, this needs to start getting painted or we're going to run out of time. That's good there. Good there. You can see that there's quite a bit of modification in holes and armor separation and all sorts of things. I had a lot of fun modifying this bit. That goes in there. May as well notate it. I believe I had a random marker somewhere. Not in there, that's cool. That's not working. Of course it wouldn't be working. Why would it be working? Ah, Sharpie. So I know that I've got 2 polycaps going on in there. Okay, so that's all good. These bits, I need something pointy. Knife. Push. Providence is a great kit. It's been a pleasure to modify. Gunmetal. Gunmetal, I don't even have to shade. I can still one color, so that's pretty cool. The red, I'll shade in 2 colors. All needs to be primed anyway. So that's there. That's there. This gets split. It gets pulled apart there. This modification is crazy. Goes there. Got some blue tack. That's all we need to. Which we happen to have got here. I need to be very careful. There we go. When attaching these, if you've got a definite point of attachment, like a big peg, it's not just going to go pop. So it's still a pull test. That's not going anywhere. So I've had a couple of parts pop or snap or break or all sorts of things. That goes there. This one, yeah, I can see a good point. Goes there. Sort of pops a bit. So we're going to use a little blue tack. And make sure it stays there. There we go. Some of the detail is a bit on the weird side. Alright, so that goes in there. There's nothing more frustrating where, like, this environment's a tad dirty, it's a bit cluttered. There's parts and shit on the floor. And you get a part that just pop up, hits the ceiling, disappears in the nether region, and it's a case of, where the fuck did it go? That same thing, sort of slides a bit. So when you start putting washers and whatnot on it, that's when there's a bit of trouble. Trouble in small Chinatown. So that's that. Should this be visible? It should be visible. There we go. Why not? Make it visible. Oh, I wiped my finger with my nose. Oh wait, I got a beard, so it doesn't matter. So I was worried that I got black pigment and put it under my nose, and like, get Hitler stash, but I already got a beard and mustache and forgot all about that. That was very silly. Getting a bit tired, so I'm getting close to wanting to finish up. Alright. Sort the big parts out. So I did some cutout. You can see the holes that are going all the way through and whatnot, and how those turn out. I'm just really happy with. So can't complain at all. These two parts came out cool. Let's see how does that go. Yeah, that's a bit flimsy, so we get a bit of blue tack on it. Cool. And tomorrow's probably going to be my airbrushing day. Yeah, I think that's going to work out nicely. I had a little trouble using that laser cutter for the past few days, so there's a lot of time invested in that. And so right now I'll do some modelling. Forget laser cutting, 3D printing. Let's just get some plastic modelling done. Yeah, that'll be fun. These will just be purely mounted on blue tack on skewers. So they'll only be blue tack supporting it. So I reckon these are the ones that are just going to fly off into the nether region. That's going to suck. Loose parts, have to remodify them, paint them, prime them, all that sort of stuff. So I've got a second providence if I need parts, but remodifying parts is just going to kill me. I will cry. I swear I will cry. I'm going to need another one of these, but I can just take the one that my tank's off, so that's not a big deal. Stream's been doing really well for a long time, so that's alright. 2.5 hours. That's metal as. Yeah, that's working. Blue tack's just awesome for small bits. I'm glad to be using the Twitch setup again. Okay. Sweet. Done. So we've got these, and they're fairly separatable enough without touching each other. Oops, wrong camera. There we go. So they get put aside. Got these bigger parts. And they got all sorts of awesome bits that you can just anchor on and they don't break or anything. Ooh, I didn't like the sound of that. That's got to be safe. That's a bit of blue tack. Bit of blue tack. Too paranoid. Already lost a part. Not gonna lose another fucking part. There's too many setbacks. Once this Providence done, I'm enjoying the Providence, but yeah, I want it done. I want it finished. Surprisingly, I just reckon that, you know, when you mount on skewers and whatnot, if there's a fun job for some reason, I don't know why, you just go at it. And you're mounting a high grade or a whole master grade or whatever, and you just don't realise how much time it actually occupies masking the bits, attaching it properly, all that sort of thing. It takes up an obscene amount of time. It's just ridiculous. It surprises me every time. Well, now it doesn't surprise me as much as it used to. So there's no real good place to attach this. So it might actually have to go on pure blue tack. There we go. That's a bit surprising. Doesn't matter. on with the show. Next two pieces. Attack again. And we'll go here where it won't be too visible. Ah, lagging again. That sucks. I've been doing this for a while. Done. One day I gotta back up all of the streams I've done in the past. Ooh, that is not good. But at the same time, it's not that bad. So, oh, lost a streamer. It's just you, me, and Irene. So we'll make a backup of this. Take tip, only the tip, tip. Alright. Stretch back a bit, stick in, stretch a bit more, and she's stuck on. Oh, number 3 is back. Hello, welcome back. Don't know if it's lagging or not lagging. All I can tell is from my secondary computer streaming, and well, not streaming, viewing the stream. I was always struggled to watch Twitch, so who knows? Who knows? Until someone tells me. We're at the tail end of the stream. I think I've had enough. We've been doing this for 2.5 hours. I don't think anyone's even going to watch the archive footage that much. No one watches the last one. Doesn't matter. Put it out there for future sake or whatever. Doesn't matter. Stick that in there. That's done. And now we've got one more to do. So we've got to do these tiny pieces, and that can be a pain. Tank's got to go. These are balls. Balls are easy. Balls don't fly off. Pull test works. I'll snap it on and pull, and it doesn't just pop off. Cool. These two pieces. Do the blue tack for good measure. Two more. Put some shit on it. Obviously, I've used that for something. Can't remember. Okay, bit of blue tack just in case. So close to being done for the night. It's done. That needs a bit of glue. Pull that too hard. That smells good. Let's use a bit of blue tack. Oh no, these weren't even glued on to begin with. That's okay, we fixed that. It's very thick U-Star ABS cement. Beautiful. And we're going to need some toothpicks for the next bit. People really do like how I do my mounting, especially with the toothpick technique. Got a bit there. 2 bits of blue tack. People ask me how do I even come up with these, and it's just whatever makes sense to me. Taper at the ends. Oh, my foot's falling asleep. Sitting down for far too long, enough to go exercise or something. And I just ram these ends in. There you go. They're not falling, they're not bouncing off, they're not coming off the nuts, and I can paint 2 on the 1 skewer. And I'll have to do an update by camera for a few seconds on Providence. I'm going to take photos of this is just a mental note for myself. Photos for the victory, a few second video for, I have to stand up, man. Ooh, my legs are dead. Oh, I could actually still work while standing. That's something. There we go. That should work. Oh, done this stream for too long. Realistically, 2 hours at a time is just my limit. can't do anymore. Thank you very much for watching. That's the end of our stream. We will try to do it again next week and regular, and hopefully build up an audience or something, or not. I don't know. I'm not too fussed at this stage. I can mount more Provident bits when the other Provident bits are painted. I have 2 bits of Providence being painted at one time, maybe 3 when it gets a bit more desperate. I don't know. Catch you guys next time. See you later.